All right, let's get right into it. We're in the middle of this massive, massive shift in how we all find information online. I mean, for decades, it's all been about search engines, right? But now we're stepping into the era of answer engines. And figuring out how to show up in those answers, well, that's the new frontier for pretty much anyone who wants to get noticed. So this is it. This is the question that every founder, every marketer, heck, every creator is wrestling with right now. If everyone's starting to turn to AI for their answers, how on earth do you make sure your thing, your product, your service, your content is the answer that it gives? And you know what? There's a name for this whole practice. It's called answer engine optimization, or AEO for short. And yeah, you can basically think of it as the new SEO. It's the art and science of making sure that when one of these big AI models spits out an answer, your name is right there in the mix. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Great, another acronym. This just sounds like SEO with a new paint job. And look, they're definitely related. But, and this is a big but, the fundamental rules of the game, they've completely changed. This isn't just about pleasing a search algorithm anymore. It's a whole new ballgame. For starters, it completely redefines what winning even looks like. You know, in the classic Google world, the holy grail was that single number one blue link. That's it. But in the world of AO, it's all about volume. The AI is a synthesizer. It pulls from multiple sources to create a summary. So winning isn't about being the one link. It's about being cited the most within that final answer. And honestly, this is probably the biggest opportunity we've seen in a long time. Traditional SEO, man, that's a long, hard slog. It can take years to build up enough authority to even think about competing with the big dogs. But with AEO, a brand new company, I mean, literally just starting out, can get a genuine mention on a Reddit thread today and start showing up in AI answers tomorrow. The playing field has been completely reset. And there's more. The way we're all talking to these things is totally different. We're not just punching in a few keywords anymore. We're asking full, detailed questions. Get this, the average Google search is what, like 6 words? The average prompt people are putting into these answer engines is 25 words long. That's huge. It means the long tail is back and it's bigger than ever. There's this vast, untapped world of super specific questions that you could be the very first person to answer. Okay, so the rules are different. The opportunities are massive. I get it, but let's talk about the bottom line, right? The so what. Why is this more than just the latest buzzword? What's the actual tangible business impact here? Let's just let this number sink in for a second. 6x. What on earth could be 6 times better when we're talking about traffic from the internet? The conversion rate. That's what it is. Webflow, and they're a pretty big deal, they discovered that people showing up to their site from an answer engine were 6 times more likely to convert than someone coming from a normal Google search. I mean, just think about that for a second. The people who click through, they're not just browsing, they've asked a specific question, gotten a specific answer, and now they are ready to act. This isn't just traffic, it's super high intent traffic. And don't think this is just some tiny little experimental channel either. For a major company like Webflow, answer engines are already driving 8% of all their new signups. That's a huge chunk. It basically became one of their top channels almost overnight. This is real, folks. It's happening right now. Okay, so let's say you're convinced, you see the potential, and you want in. The big question is, how do you actually do this stuff? So let's break it down. We're going to walk through a simple 5-step playbook to get you started. It's a pretty logical flow, really. First, you got to figure out what questions people are even asking. Then you set up a way to track your progress. After that, it's a 2-pronged attack, fixing up your own site and getting mentioned on other sites. And the final, and maybe most crucial step, is to experiment relentlessly to see what actually works for you. All right, step 1, question research. Here's a great little hack to get started. Go look at your competitors' paid search ads. What are they spending their hard-earned money on? Grab those keywords, pop them into ChatGPT, and just ask it to turn them into questions. Then, and don't forget this, dig into your own backyard. Your sales calls, your support tickets, they are an absolute goldmine for the real, raw questions your customers are asking every single day. Okay, so once you've got your questions, you'd move on to steps 2 and 3. That's basically setting up tracking and optimizing your own website. But let's jump to the really powerful stuff. Step 4, getting those off-site citations. This is where the magic happens. Video is a huge one, especially for super niche B2B topics. And then you have user-generated content. AIs absolutely love authentic conversations on places like Reddit and Quora. And of course, getting mentioned on a big, high-authority site, that's still a massive win. And that brings us to the final step, number 5, experiment. And please listen to this part. So much of the AO best practices stuff you'll read online is, frankly, just a guess. The only way you'll know what really works is to test it like a scientist. Set up a control group of questions you don't touch. Then create a test group where you make just one change. Maybe you add a few helpful Reddit comments, track it for a few weeks, see what happens. And if it works, try to do it again to make sure it wasn't a fluke. That is how you find the secrets that actually move the needle. You know, all of this, the tactics, the strategy, it all boils down to one central, really important theme. We are heading into a world that is going to be absolutely flooded with AI-generated content. And in that world, your single greatest, most powerful competitive advantage is going to be being human, being authentic. I mean, just look at a platform like Reddit. You've got two ways to go. There's the spammy way. You create 100 fake accounts, you auto-post comments everywhere, and what happens? You get banned and your comments get wiped. It's a waste of time. Then there's the authentic way. You post as a real person, you say where you work, and you just provide a genuinely helpful answer. And guess what? It works. The community appreciates it, and the AI models, they're learning to reward it.
And look, this isn't just my opinion. We're seeing the data to back this up. Here's a quote from Ethan Smith. He's the CEO of Graphite. He says, "The future of content is clearly AI-assisted, but purely 100% AI-generated content does not work." And that's the key, right? Using AI as a tool, as an assistant, absolutely, that's the future. But just hitting a button and letting a robot do 100% of the work with no human insight, it just doesn't work. You won't rank.
And there's actually a really deep systemic reason for this. It's a scary concept called model collapse. Basically, what happens if an AI starts training on content that was also made by an AI? It starts talking to itself in an echo chamber. The wisdom of the crowd, all that messy, valuable human knowledge, just gets destroyed. The AI converges on one single and often totally wrong idea. So the answer engines have to prioritize real human stuff, or they will literally eat themselves and break. So that really leaves us all with one final big question to chew on. As AI gets better and better at just summarizing everything that's already on the internet, just saying what everyone else is already saying, well, that's not going to cut it anymore. The real challenge, but also the biggest opportunity, is for you to ask, what unique, authentic, truly human value can I add to this conversation? Because in this new age of answers, that right there is how you're going to win.